like to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, and Dakota, as well as the birthplace of the Métis homeland. Madam Clerk, do we need to move the minutes because this is a special meeting? Right. Okay. So we'll start on with our delegations, I think.
Yes, that's correct. So the first delegation we have today is Kelly Ryback. And Kelly's with us in person, so if you want to come down to the podium. And then after Kelly, we'll hear Councillor Schreier along with Leilani Esteban, Charity Strange, and Liz Platt.
Okay. Thank you, city clerks. Welcome, councillors, public, media, if they're there. No. Speaking about the budget preview, and I first want to say that my first issue and disappointment in just this review process, I feel for not only me, the delegates, but you, the councillors, the taxpayers, and the department heads about to present. If you want to know about those, if I have time near the end, or if you want to ask me about it, I'll expand on that, but it's very disappointing.
I'm going to get you to expand on that at the end, so keep going.
In the budget, the mayor and the finance chair letter, page 10, addressing the balanced budget shortfall in the context of the pandemic requires discipline and innovation to limit expenditures and manage revenues. In the councillor code of conduct, you have a responsibility to maximize value to the taxpayer. Councillor Gillingham stated in the Free Press and others, there's hard decisions. Well, I read the budget, I'm getting through reports, and it's not there. I don't see the hard decisions. I presented to finance and EPC. I presented to several standing policy committees and the Assembly and Community Committee, not only with complaints, criticisms, but also with solutions and validation. There are still non-value expenditures that have not been reduced where there needs to be priority on essential services. I can expand later. The head count, 9,150 full-time equivalent employees in the city. Static, that has not changed pretty much year over year. A decrease of 10, that's 0.1%. With an average salary and benefits value of $103,760 per full-time equivalent. There are over 4,300 employees making in excess of $75,000 a year. It's not in the city charter that the city must pay the highest wages in the industry. But we're also not getting value for our money. Productivity is poor, workmanship in many times is sloppy, there's deficiencies, there's patchwork that gets done over and over again instead of doing a permanent solution. Innovation, because they talked about innovation. Most of the innovation standing policy committee meetings are canceled. And at EPC or city council, there's no report. A third of my career was in the IT industry. I know what can be solved. I took a department from 70 employees down to 12 and providing exceptional service increases because of innovation and performance management and leadership and buy-in. There's nothing in the city here. The head count hasn't changed. I have taken upon myself this year to be fully engaged in the city, to be part of the solution, and really I think I'm falling on deaf ears. No initiatives to reduce costs, improve productivity, increase bylaw and traffic violation tickets, no innovation to investigate and apprehend suspects faster and more effectively. The last snowfall, the clearing was pathetic.
Ask you to stick to, our department, which is property planning and development. So if you could just, stick to those.
Well, a lot of this applies. These are general things, but they do apply to property and development.
Okay.
Lack of innovation, lack of performance, etc.
So
specific to your department, the one thing I do commend you on with the digitization process that went on, you did change some places, but that's so few in the city. With responsibility for neighborhoods, we have lost our sense of community. The community clubs used to be a destination. The neighborhood parks used to be a destination. They're vacant now. It's actually ironic. You talk about acquiring green space and converting golf courses and things like that. and our neighborhood parks are empty. The odd playground upgrade, they're still empty. One counselor said, hey, we added bike lanes for exercise. Why aren't we using the parks? You're looking at, your department's looking at selling John Bloomberg Golf Course. I presented that at the Assiniboine Community Committee because its use has increased. Councillor Gillingham said, that's probably only because of pandemic. It would be nice if somebody told Golf Services because there are forecasting increases for the coming years. And isn't it ironic, you want to repurpose or sell golf courses, but one of the saving graces to economic recovery was increasing green fees. Isn't it ironic that with all the let's cut greenhouse emissions, but one of the saving graces was the gas tax? Isn't it ironic that Expert Electric volunteered to provide flashing lights to improve safety at school zones? Where are they? I drove down Buchanan today. It's supposed to be one of 12 sites. And it's not there. I presented and said, I'm in favor of this motion. Please do it before September, before school starts. It's not done. What happened to them? I stood before council 2 weeks ago and offered $15,000 worth of consulting services for free to help 311 on a report. 3 counselors called me after. We discussed, we want you to do it. They referred me to the public service. I haven't heard back. We're 1/6 of the time through the 90-day report. Isn't it ironic that there's a report to improve sidewalk snow clearing, which I presented to twice with 4 recommendations, and nothing's been done. They're waiting until April until they can go to a conference. I wanted a snow fence done in front of Ballard School because there's 150 yards of public sidewalk in front of public property that no citizen can clear. And I asked for a pilot project because every south wind and storm, it blows in and drifts so much, the standard equipment can't get through it, and it stays that way for a week until they get heavy artillery in. I recommended that, and IRPW didn't even take it to the public service. So I bought the snow fence, and I'm working with the school division to get it installed. And this is widespread throughout every department. You've all seen or heard from me before. I'm not going to go through all the examples in specific of departments, but when one counselor wants to give away property on tax sale, and I spoke to that when you guys talked about it. Why am I doing this? I'm a lifer of Winnipeg, and all but 2 years of my 57.5 years, I've been a resident of St. James, Assiniboia, Westwood. Thank you. I've been successful in many areas with 5 different careers. I'm not just complaining. I've offered solutions. I've given another state of mind. I've used my expertise and knowledge. I've learned from my mistakes to come forward. But you speak of transparency and engagement, it's lip service. I care and want to serve and be part of this solution. For a period in the 80s and the 90s, few people in this city have served, represented, and supported this city more than me. If you want to learn about that, I'll tell you. I even had a Love Me, Love My Winnipeg jacket. But today, this moment, and in the future, I've never been more concerned for this once great city. There needs to be a culture change. There needs to be a change to the status quo. Thank you, Ms. Councillor Klein. But there needs to be a culture change. There needs to be an increase in performance, all departments. Because we, the taxpayer, are not getting the value for what we pay.